everyone, and welcome to Sisters with Superpowers. I'm excited to introduce you to today's guest, the founder of Geneba Tequila, IngridLaVon. Welcome, Ingrid.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and I appreciate you inviting me over. I love that Sisters with Superpowers. So thank you.
Definitely, definitely. Well, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Launching a tequila brand is quite the venture. What inspired you to create Geneba Tequila, and how does it reflect your journey?
Oh gosh. And I'll start with the latter part of that. The journey has been one of almost 12 years. After having my son at I would call it a seasoned age. They call it the pregnancy where you're older in pregnancy. I was 39 when I had my son, almost 40 at that age where you start rethinking your entire childbearing life. And after I had him, I had a very difficult time losing weight. And so I tried all the things, during that time, it was all the fad diets. And I'm like, I probably should just work out a little bit more. And what, as women, we realize is the way we worked out in our 20s and was able to shed those unwanted pounds look very different in your 40s and your 50s. And so I started a very strenuous workout called CrossFit. And I was the oldest woman there, and it was like a whole thing. And so they told us the first 60 days we had to not drink.
Mm,
And I'm like, I know you lying because first of all, I'm the oldest woman in here, but I still look great, but I'm the oldest person because CrossFit is for young, vibrant, it's a lot of work. And so I said, and you don't want me to drink? And so I did it for about 30 some odd days. And then I went to the manager and said, I'm going to keep coming to CrossFit, but we need to figure out what type of alcohol I can consume.
I
And
love
he
it.
said, you know what? You're not the first person to ask. You need to drink tequila.
Mm.
And I said, I remember tequila and I don't remember tequila. And that is not something I want to go back to. And he said it was because you're not drinking the right tequila. And
Mm.
so I went on this journey of course, health and figuring out what worked for me. And after probably 1,000 different tequilas, I landed on those that worked for my body. And I had to define what that meant. And so that meant something that was clean, something that tasted good just by itself. In the spirits industry, they call it neat. So I needed to have something that just worked for me. And it was an additive free, clean, sippable, expensive tequila because typically as invest greater in tequilas, they say the quality is better. Well, of course, Haniba is kind of demystify that because it's a very good tequila at an affordable price. And so after that, I think about 7 years ago, I told a friend of mine, I said, hey, I'm going to start my own tequila brand one day because I'm buying a lot of tequila. And we laughed about it. It was like one of those fleeting moments. But
Hmm.
at that moment, now that I reflect back, and she actually reminded me that I said this 7 years ago, that was a little seed that I planted in God's spirit. And God was like, oh, she said that, we gonna do this. And then 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, I was with a gentleman that owns a Mexican restaurant here in my town. And I said it again because I became the taste tester at the Mexican restaurant. Every time they got a new tequila, they waited until I came in there. And we were there every Tuesday for Taco Tuesday. And so he says, I got this great tequila and I'm tasting it with them. And I said, I'm going to own my own tequila one day. And he stopped and he said, are you serious? And for a split second, I said, am I serious? Like I knew at that moment that if I said yes, I had to do it. And if I said no, I would miss that moment.
Mm.
So I said yes. He gave me a phone number and he said, if you're serious, call this guy.
Wow.
2 months, I called the guy. Took me 2 months because I know I got the number and I'm not fully committed yet. But if I call the phone number, it's done. Like Ingrid has to follow through with this. And so I called the phone number, and today that gentleman is my importer. He is of Mexican descent. He's been in the tequila industry for almost 20 years. His family owned a couple of brands, and he was God sent. And so he's been on this journey with my husband and I as the chief operating officer. He's been on this journey with us ever since. So the long answer is It was spirit led, and now it's a spirit in the bottle because then I named it after my mom that passed away 6 years ago. Geneva is Geneva in Spanish. And now it's something that's taken a life of its own. I knew I didn't want a regular tequila because my background is corporate and I've been teaching women in business how to build profitable businesses probably for most of my career, both in corporate and, in the philanthropic world. And I wanted to make sure that I could bring those two things together. And so now it is the tequila for women. Not only do we have a beautiful spirit and a beautiful liquid at a great price, but we are an empowerment brand that will teach women all of the things that I learned in corporate and how to be successful and to build a profitable business through the bottle. So we like to say that it's beyond the bottle of Geneva tequila.
That is amazing. That is a wonderful story of preparing yourself and understanding the importance of I have this number. Am I ready? Because I know what's going to happen once I call this number. That is absolutely beautiful. And I love the fact that you use the name more so as a tribute to your mom. Can you tell the viewers a little bit more how her legacy has influenced the brand's identity and mission?
My mom was, if you were to ask seven of my girlfriends what was my mom's favorite saying, they would tell you it's cocktail time. My mother was the mother that all my friends loved. Extremely graceful, very classy, very classic, very Diane Carrollish, and everybody loved her. And so she wasn't and now we didn't have a friendship. It was still a true mother-daughter relationship, but I just admired her strength so much because she had me at a young age and she raised me. It was just her and I for my entire life, and it was just a beautiful relationship. And so all my friends loved her. They all called her Mama Geneva or Miss
Oh,
Geneva, and she was just known for her style. And so the brand, everything from the packaging to the colors to the glamorous bottle with the beautiful glass top, it is a resemblance of who she stood for. It's bold, it's powerful, it's strong, but it's also delicate and it has intricate details. And so her legacy is truly in the bottle. And in the logo, if you pay close enough attention to it, you see an agave plant. But inside of that agave plant is a picture that I took of her at a church picnic. And we embedded that picture inside of the agave. So I like to tell people that she's the first Black woman on a bottle of tequila out of Jalisco, Mexico.
I love that. I love that. You speak of so many notes of how various women have influenced, whether it's your mother, that you've created this tequila specifically for women, or rather crafted this specifically for women. How do you envision it redefining the tequila experience for women?
Um, it's not even a redefining, I believe that it's a revolutionary introduction for women into tequila. Now, what I am finding, the caveat is I'm finding a lot of women that drink tequila, but the interesting part is I didn't know. And so what that tells me is that there's this hidden underground desire and purchase and experience that's happening that women haven't stood up and said, this is what the experience looks like for me in the world of tequila. So I feel like we're revolutionizing it, we're bringing it to the forefront, and more women are like, oh, I drink tequila and I drink tequila. And the brand is bringing that out, and we're bringing women together in that way. And so our mission, which is around the neck of the bottle, is to gather, grow, and give, to gather women together through a beautiful spirit and a liquid, to grow women through our mission of empowerment and through master classes through the brand, and then to give. And that's not only to give back to a hospital system that will be donating out tutoring services and grocery services to mothers that are battling cancer that have children, but to also give back to one another, like to
Mm.
give back to you and to give back to Catrice and to give back to just women. Like, let's get back to a point where we are intentional about our expertise and our passion and sharing that with women so that we're fueling one another. And that's what I want this tequila brand to be.
The intentionality of that. It, oftentimes people don't realize how important that is as you're speaking over your business or you're speaking into people, what it is, that intention that you want it to have. Now, we've talked a lot about all the women backing it, behind it, that you are marketing to, but the tequila industry is predominantly male. What challenges have you faced as a Black woman entering this space, and have you navigated?
Well, the first challenge is men often say, the population, the world population is 50% male. So how are you leaving us out of the conversation? And my answer is, you already left us out. We are now entering into a discussion, and I'm creating that space for women to be comfortable with talking about their experience in the tequila industry. That's first and foremost. So I don't feel like I'm leaving a population out. I feel like I'm inviting a population in that was never a part of the discussion. From a Black woman perspective, there are a handful of Black-owned tequila spirits out there that are beautiful. A couple of them, I think one is Black, 100% female, Black-owned. But when you think about just 2,000 plus tequilas on the market, and I can probably name the minority-owned tequilas, I see that as an opportunity. And so even as a part of our brand, as recent as a couple weeks ago, I had someone reach out to me in my DMs and said, I've always wanted to start my own tequila brand, and you've given me the courage to do that. And my response was, one, welcome, and two, how can I help you? Because it's not about me having a tequila and nobody else. It's about me having the roadmap and the resources to keep the door open and invite others in, because I have my dream and my passion and my tequila and my brand, but someone else could be very different. What we have to realize is everybody's unique. And even though it could be another tequila for women, it can be the tequila for women, because I do own that. I trademark that. So that's another class, but trademarking and patent and all those things are really important for us as a people, as women. But I'm happy to share my journey, and I'm happy to share my resources and the tactical things that it took. And when you talk about challenges, the biggest challenge is going to Mexico, and my husband and I going where we didn't we didn't speak the language. We had to trust people that we didn't know. We had to follow our faith and trust God and trust the people that were kind of driving things within the US. When we landed in Guadalajara and had to take a 3-hour bus trip to a place where we were like, oh my goodness, we don't know where they're taking us. It was all about faith and courage and trust. And then, I mean, I'm blessed to have an amazing husband that got me, and I got him. And he said, babe, if this is something you want to do, let's figure out how to do this. And so we both, like, I feel like we've also strengthened our marriage, because it's only us in this thing. And so it's just been, of course, the challenges, the financial challenges, like, we 100% owners. We don't have any investors, but that also comes with discipline and diligence and other avenues that we've built. That's a whole nother class. How do you use your day job to start
Mom,
something else?
that
And
part.
so there are a number of minor challenges, and I call them minor because none of those things should ever stop any of us from pursuing a dream that we have that can help other people.
Oh, definitely. You are just making moves. That is wonderful. I love hearing the stories where people often share, like you just shared, about having that support system, having your husband who's got your back and you having his back, and you guys going out on this adventure together, this journey together. That's absolutely beautiful. You mentioned a little bit earlier how you are a fantastic multitasker. You're handling corporate, you're handling your business, you're always making moves. Can you share any of your upcoming projects or exciting collabs you have in the work?
The most fun collab, well, one, we were selected as, and this is kind of past tense, but we were selected as the tequila of choice for the Oscars gifting lounge. That was like new brand, kind of pre-launching at the Oscars was amazing. To have that level of eyes and lips, look, eyes and lips on your product was amazing. Coming up, we have a beautiful relationship or partnership with Bosch, the appliance, and
Mhm.
Gaggenau, which is the Gaggenau is the brand that you buy the kitchen and then you build the house around the kitchen. That's how that's the experience that they have. But we're partnering with luxury brands that bring that experience to everyday women. And so Bosch, and we're having a launch party with Bosch. We have a partnership with a couple of folks in Los Angeles that I've supported in the past. This weekend, we are hosting the VIP tasting for MC Light's tour, the One of One tour. We are also the sponsor for her cipher. So it's just bringing all the things that I love into something that I love the most. And what I love the most is giving back to women and partnering with women in that way. And so there's so many things to come. We have a book we have two books in the making, and then we have our master class that's on our website called From Dreams to Dollars. And that is me sharing my tactical steps on how anyone can take something that they've always desired in their heart to making it a business and actually making $1 of revenue. And I think finally it's just keep going. Like it's a lot of things happening and a lot of things that we don't know that we're learning. And we're like 3 weeks in and we woke up this morning to like a sold out status. And so in the liquor industry, that's like mind blowing. And so I like to say my journey is surprising me every day, but we definitely have some things in the works that are going to really impact women.
That is amazing. Well, before we close out, I always like to close out with kind of like my little rapid fire. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions and just one
Uh-oh.
word answers. Okay. So, Geneba Tequila in one word.
Sexy.
I like your go to cocktail with Geneba.
Neat.
Say less. One thing every entrepreneur needs.
Money.
And last but not least, what's your superpower?
Discernment.
Ingrid, you have
Can I give a
blessed
shout
us
out
to
to my son too? I have a 14-year-old
please.
son that keeps me honest, girl.
Well,
He is
here's
he is the real reason for the tequila because it had not been for him, I would have been trying to lose that late baby weight and all the good things. So
I love that. I love that. Well, shout out to your son. Shout out to everybody watching. Again, Ingrid, can you tell everybody where they can get your product and
absolutely.
hashtags and where they can find you?
Oh my God, everything Geneba Tequila. So it's Geneba, Geneba tequila.com. It's Geneba Tequila on Instagram. It's Geneba Tequila on Facebook, on TikTok, on DMs. If you want products, we have it. And by the way, please, please, please sign up for our masterclass. I'm so excited to bring something passionate to the world of spirits. We are one of the first to incorporate spirits and classes. And so our first class again is in April. It's called From Dreams to Dollars. And you can sign up right on our website at HanebaTequila.com.
Amazing. All right. Well, everybody, again, go get Geneba Tequila, sign up for the masterclass, do all the things, and then follow them across all social media channels. All right, everybody. Thank you again, Ingrid, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody, we're back with Sisters with Superpowers after the show. Sitting here with IngridLaVon, founder of Geneba Tequila. Now, Ingrid, you mentioned earlier about a master class. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So the masterclass is not anything new to me. During COVID, I partnered with New Wealth University and I taught small businesses how to stay alive during the pandemic. I taught business finance 101 classes. That's all about know your numbers, profitability, margins, cost, expenses, like beyond the checkbook. Like how do you protect your margins to be profitable? And so in that, I've always had a desire to just make sure that people are better, like they just know better. And because of my corporate background, that's just in my DNA. And so as I went through this journey of dreams to dollars, it's literally every step that I took to get a tequila to market. And those steps, what I realized were not just steps to bring a product. It's anything that you desire to do that's against the norm or it's against your DNA. Like I don't know anybody in the spirits industry. I couldn't call John next door and say, how do I get a tequila to market? I had to figure it out. But there were some intentional steps that I took, and those are the steps we've outlined in Dreams to Dollars so that anyone, but specifically women, can start to birth new ventures and new adventures in their life.
I love that. Oftentimes people don't realize that it's more than just, oh, I have this great idea. You need to know how to take it to market and you need resources. And that's why mentors and coaches, that's why things like that are so important. And it's often overlooked because people are like, oh, I don't want to pay somebody to tell me how to do. Yes, you do.
Have to. You
Yes,
have
you
to.
do.
I spent more money before the bottle, Jay, than I have after the bottle, because I had to understand that I didn't know what I didn't know. I had to have three different attorneys. I had to have a contract attorney. I had to have a trademark attorney. I had to have an attorney that could translate. Like you have to pay to have those things done. But I did have the benefit of knowing how to start businesses because that's what I do. Um, a big part of that, I think, is most people don't know how to do that part, but they may have other parts. And so the class is about all the parts, and then you uncover which ones you need versus ones you have expertise in already.
So let me go ahead and put the plug in. You don't know what you don't know, folks. So that's why it's important to take the class. That's why
That
it's
part,
important to take the
that
class.
part.
So thank you again, Ingrid. This has been amazing. And I look forward to sipping on neatly my Geneba
Yes,
tequila. Bye,
yes, yes.
everybody.